Diaper has been living under my couch in my living room for probably 6 weeks now.
Stop were $9 lobster rolls. Technically, we got a lobster roll, a fried shrimp roll. I'm sorry, but I can't spend $35 on a toddler jacket. I know he needs one.
There are some people who should just not be parents, such as this TikTok creator who has gone viral a few months ago for her 17 diapers video, but is now going viral for a completely different reason, and it's not very good. Hello! Things look a little bit different, just getting the elephant out of the room here. I've been trying to make a little bit of changes, and I don't know if this looks cluttered or not, but this is how it's going to look for a little bit. Introducing for the 3rd year in a row, Stew Cactus, and we got a new cat tower. Happy holidays to everybody. We are discussing something that has me extraordinarily peeved. I've been scrolling on TikTok, which may or may not last much longer. In the meantime, I have been scrolling and seeing a lot about this woman known as the 17 Diapers lady, more specifically known as Nurse Hannah. If you couldn't guess, she's a social media influencer, and apparently also a nurse. Nurse Hannah is receiving a lot of backlash online currently due to the way that she has been treating her children, and especially her oldest child, who is toddler age. Now, throughout the duration of this video, I will not be showing the child's face. It will be blurred out, and there are a lot of clips that I will be trying my best to avoid showing at all, but they are out there. This person is being considered the new Ruby Frankie. If you don't know Ruby Frankie from the old YouTube channel 8 Passengers, she was a Mormon mother from Utah who had 7 children and her husband. She was arrested along with a friend of hers for severely mistreating, it's the beginning of the video, I have to word things carefully, 2 of her children. Things were not 1 to 100 in that situation. They grew over time with an audience visually seeing things become worse and worse over the years. If I understand correctly, this new creator is also from Utah and also runs off of this like Mormon family value, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Mormonism. I do know enough to understand that they are very family-based. It seems like in a lot of families that have been popping up on social media that involve Mormonism in any way, there seems to be this belief, and again, I'm just saying with the families I've seen, I don't want to generalize, that there is this belief that they need to have as many children as possible. Their marriage, no matter how bad it is, they need to stay together.
And literally we went on a date the day after we came home, which was mid-July, and we were married in December.
It's not just the religion that compares the two. It's not just the state that compares the two. It is the way that these mothers have treated their children and continue to treat their children despite backlash. She even has responded to people who have claimed she is like Ruby Frankie.
The fact that I'm even being compared right now to Ruby Frankie is absolutely comical. It's hilarious, really. The fact that my children are happy, Vegas tradition for us. In fact, my husband and I went to Vegas on our honeymoon and they're healthy. Okay, so I'm 30 weeks pregnant and I still haven't gone to the doctor yet. I'm not trying to make this controversial here. I genuinely just want to chat about it. Well nourished. Now the next way that we save a lot of money while we eat out is we don't order drink. We don't drink. Stop were $9 lobster rolls. Technically we got a lobster roll, a fried shrimp roll. They're running around playing. That should be a pretty good indicator that everything's just fine. It's great.
Yesterday, I moved my couch in my living room just a little bit so I can work out in the living room yesterday. And I found this diaper rolled up under the couch. That diaper has been living under my couch in my living room for probably 6 weeks now.
They always have a clean bum and never have a dirty diaper on. I'm not changing my kid's diaper when they pee. I've never done that. Do you know how expensive diapers are? I have friends and people that I know that like, oh, they peed, we have to change their diaper. And I'm like, they peed? Literally, I will change his diaper if he poops, or if it's like a very full diaper. The fact that this is even a thing right now is something that I just, it really is, it truly is really funny.
Now, Nurse Hannah grew in popularity after creating a video that showed her leaving 17 dirty diapers around her house, and she was, at the end of the day, going around and cleaning them up.
Let's pick up all the dirty diapers I have lying around my house right now. I kid you not, my guess is probably 15. I don't ever Taylor Decker Genie, whatever they're called. They just kind of get thrown around my house and we just collect them in a bag at the end of the day and take them out of the dumpster. So I've been solo parenting for the last 24 hours, so we're going to see how many dirty diapers we have just lying around with 2 kids. I promise you, I'm not even exaggerating, this has only been 24 hours. I think if I counted right, that's 17 diapers lying around my house. No one in my house are gonna stink right now.
She grew so popular over this video that she ended up getting recognized by mainstream media. It seemed like she became this icon for struggling single mothers who are just trying their best, dealing with fatigue, exhaustion, and it seemed like she had gained a massive following of people who could relate. The thing is, when uncovering a lot of information regarding Nurse Hannah, not only is she not a struggling single mother, but she's grown up in a very privileged household, it seems, and leads a very privileged lifestyle.
Yesterday was payday, so you guys know what that means. It's time to budget my weekly paycheck as a nurse. I work about 5 to 6 shifts a month, and this paycheck came out to $2,780. My husband's bi-weekly paycheck came out to $3,210. Equaling a total of $5,990. You guys know the drill. Before I pay any bills or spend any money, I always pay 10% in tithing back to the church. I'm gonna round up this week to $600 even. Lately, I have been contemplating doing 5% to the church and 5% towards something else. Obviously, given to a charity, given to the homeless or something like that. I just haven't decided yet.
So I just paid $600 in tithing, and you guys were freaking out over it, saying that why would you go into the negatives financially to pay tithing? I believe 110%. You will never change my mind. This is a non-negotiable for me. Paying tithing, paying 10% back to the church every single paycheck is the reason why I am where I am today.
If you want to make $3,000 to $5,000 a week, why are you not a travel nurse? Why? It's so freaking fun. It's actually not that hard.
See, it seems that a couple months ago, if you were to criticize her, you would be bombarded with retaliation by not just her fans, but other people who might be in a situation where they are struggling. And this isn't to shame anybody who is struggling or going through things. It's to point out that she has become an icon for people who are dealing with a lot, but she is able to provide more and be better because she has talked about how much money she has made. She has talked about how much money she gives to the Mormon church, while simultaneously talking about how she doesn't want to spend $35 on a jacket for her child.
It feels like 8 degrees. And we're venturing out of the house with 2 kids because I am stupid. This is how cold the car is. This is literally rock freaking solid. It turned winter in like 0.2 days and this kid doesn't have a big jacket. So I need to find him a big jacket. I'm sorry, but I can't spend $35 on a toddler jacket. I know he needs one.
She took this poor little guy out in weather that she describes as 8 degrees with no jacket, no hat, no scarf, no mittens, nothing to keep him warm. When they go into the store, she talks about how $35 is too expensive for a toddler jacket. This is the same woman that has an ice machine in her house and a soda machine. How is that relatable? How is that okay? How is that not ringing alarm bells off in people's heads? I'm just very exhausted seeing influencer after influencer after influencer going online, treating their children like cash cows to milk, and then they mistreat their children. Not only is she making profit off of TikTok, but she's also a nurse who has a very livable income. She talks about how her husband controls her finances, which is weird.
If you're married, does your husband control your bank account? Because he controls mine. He controls how much money I spend, and he controls everything with finances. Like every week, I'll give you the paycheck, you tell me what to do with it. That's a happy marriage to me. Which honestly, I don't want the responsibility with having to manage finances, so if he wants to do it, I'll let him do it. He does it all. He manages the mortgage, he manages our groceries, he manages the bills, he does the phone bills, he does everything. He looks at that credit card bill like a hawk. When he sees that I spend $5 at Taco Bell, I mean, sorry. If you made it to the end of this video, it's a joke. I mean, yes, he manages the credit card and he does all the finances, but he didn't take away my credit card. Our credit card information got stolen, so we had to cancel the credit card, and so I have no credit card. So, no, he manages the finances, but he doesn't manage me. Dad is out of town, so he couldn't stop us from buying lunch today.
But she also complains that her husband has spent over $1,000 on hunting gear.
This year, for my husband's birthday, I told him, yeah, I'm not buying you anything. You want to know why I'm not buying him anything? Well, you probably already know. It's because he spent $1,500 on hunting gear. And the second he told me how much he spent, I said, happy birthday, because I'm not buying you anything after that. I mean, at this point, let's be real. I honestly don't care. I think it's an investment. It's whatever. We've moved on. But just because I'm not buying him any gifts doesn't mean we're not going to go out and celebrate. We went to dinner tonight at a ramen house, and honestly, not a fan. I'd give it like a 3 out of 10 if I'm being really honest. Like, fancy ramen, I just don't understand. Like, I can make this at home for seriously $1, and like, why am I paying $15 for a bowl of ramen? But after our ramen experience, we had to go to Dave & Buster's because we love Dave & Buster's. So let's be real, we're only going to Dave & Buster's on Wednesday nights when it's half off, because I'm sorry, I'm not spending $3 on an arcade game or a game of skee ball. That's not happening. So for my husband's birthday, no, I did not buy him any gifts, but we did go to dinner and we went to Dave & Buster's and did drop some money on there. We honestly had a lot of fun, and we used all of our points that we racked up to buy appetizers for the night. Well, not really appetizers, more like a late night snack after all of our skee ball and football and arcade games. We had a babysitter, which was even better. But yeah, this definitely does not happen often.
Why couldn't her husband pitch in and pay $35 for a jacket? Speaking about her husband, we're going to take a moment to talk about their marriage because it seems like she has a very unhappy marriage, despite calling it a joke when she complains about it on TikTok. She'll claim that things are satire, but then talk about stuff like this, where it doesn't sound like a joke, it just sounds like she's genuinely frustrated and unhappy, at least in my opinion.
Why is it that a woman can push out an 8, 9, sometimes 10-pound baby, and the house chores never stop? But then when the man of the house gets a little tiny cold, the whole world just stops. All of a sudden, the man has no responsibilities, no duties, nothing like that. They want you to make them juice and soup and bring them their tissues. Like, I'm wearing a literal diaper after just pushing out your child, and I'm still doing the dishes, doing the laundry, cleaning up after our family. Not to mention cooking at least 2-3 meals a day. And I'm sorry, sir, you get the sniffles and you can't function anymore. The other day, I was almost certain that I had mastitis, and I still had to function, take care of my toddler and my newborn. Not to mention you went hunting and left me home alone to take care of our now 2 children. Anyways, let's be real. This is not just my husband. This is just men in general.
While I don't think that she's having an original experience here, in other words, I'm sure that there are plenty of other marriages that are similar to this isn't healthy.
My husband never cooks dinner, and when I say never, I mean never.
I'm pretty sure I'm a horrible mother. Basically, my husband came home from hunting with a wound in his leg, making him unable to walk. That's a pretty serious wound, and then I woke up today with, I'm pretty sure, the flu and a fever, and the body aches. And now I have to take care of a newborn and a toddler and have the flu by myself. Oh, because my husband's home for one day and then he's leaving again, so.
We don't see much of her husband online, we don't see his perspective of things, but what we do see are small clips of him looking very awkward in the background of some of her videos, and if what Hannah claims is true, then he apparently told her that she is a very messy person, which she wasn't happy to hear.
So my husband recently told me that I am not a clean person. This man looked me straight in the face and said, wow, I'm surprised that I'm the clean one in this marriage. So today I'm proving him wrong and I'm cleaning every inch of this house, starting with the kitchen and the living room, while he, mind you, is sitting on the freaking couch being a lazy sack. Don't worry, sir. Let me strap the baby to my chest. Let me take care of the toddler, but you can sit back and watch the news all day. I'm actually not that lazy. I'm just fired up right now because he said that I'm not a clean person. That kind of made me want to pull his head off. Like, it triggered me a little bit.
With that being said, I think it's important to understand that just because her husband doesn't have an online presence doesn't mean he is able to avoid any criticism in this situation. He is also on camera flicking his child's fingers away from food and making his child flinch. I personally do think it's strange that she is allowing him to have full control of their finances. But if that's how they want to work their household, then why isn't he doing more to make sure that his children are being properly clothed for the appropriate seasons? On top of that, there are some comments she makes that make me extremely uncomfortable, like the discussion of when it's appropriate to start being intimate with your partner again after giving birth, making comments that if the person giving birth wants to wait a certain amount of time, that's gonna make the husband suffer.
Let's talk about waiting 6 weeks postpartum. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then obviously you've never had a baby. You know, my opinion with this whole thing is you do you. If you want to wait 6 weeks, wait 6 weeks. But honestly, if you want to wait 2 or 3 weeks, then good for you. And also, if you want to wait like 6 months, I feel like that's kind of torture for your husband. I think that's incredibly rude, and I honestly can't even imagine doing that.
And she also often complains about him being lazy while she's doing all of the housework while being postpartum and going back to work.
Yesterday, my husband had the absolute audacity to say that I'm not a clean person. Like, I'm sorry, who the heck is cleaning this house all day, every day? I clean the house all day, every day, yet it is still a disaster because we have 2 kids and you don't help. Who do you think is always doing the dishes, emptying the dishwasher, doing the laundry, cleaning the counters, cleaning the floors, sweeping, vacuuming, mopping? What do you mean I'm not the clean one in this marriage?
Which, if this is true and not just jokes like she claims sometimes, then yeah, there's a problem there. I'm not going to lie to you and say that marriage is 50-50 100% of the time. There are going to be times when one partner is going to do more work than the other. It's just realistic in how life gets. But that does not mean that there should be this expectation that one partner should be doing 100% of the housework or 100% of the cooking or 100% of watching their children all the time. And if I'm being completely honest, the way that she she describes her husband as that of a man-child who can't take care of himself or his children. With that being said, that is not to excuse the behavior she's displayed towards her children publicly through her TikToks and trying to normalize that behavior to other parents online. I just want to make it known that it seems like it's more than just her in this situation.
You know what? I still wouldn't change it for a thing. I love my role as a mother and a wife. I absolutely love my little family that I have. Like, it brings me to tears how much I love my family.
Sure, Jan.
Before we continue, being a victim of a very serious injury isn't just a painful experience, but a very stressful one. For example, a teacher was on her way home from work as she was getting off of a highway and heading towards a stoplight. That's when her car was rear-ended by a distracted driver, causing 2 serious injuries, one between her pelvis and her spine, and the other in her neck. These injuries caused issues with stability and pain management and ultimately affected her ability to continue doing her job. When fighting for compensation, she was originally offered $200,000 for her life-altering injuries. But with Morgan & Morgan fighting for her, the case went to trial and they ended up obtaining $2.6 million. If you've ever gotten into an accident, your injury could potentially be worth millions. And Morgan & Morgan has your back if you become their client. While dealing with cases, Morgan & Morgan doesn't just settle for lowball offers. Morgan & Morgan has achieved significant verdicts for victims with life-altering injuries, including over $12 million in Florida, which is 34 times the highest insurance offer, and $26 million in Philly, which is 40 times the highest insurance offer. Being America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan has over 1,000 lawyers working across all 50 states. And the best part is, the fee is completely free unless you win your case, meaning no expensive upfront charges coming out of your pocket. Like I've said, if you've ever gotten seriously hurt, your case could be worth millions, and you're only a few clicks away from potentially changing your life. It's so easy to do. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/Mimi. You can find the link in the description below. Thank you so much to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring yet another video on today's channel, and with that being said, let's get back into today's topic. Going back to the issues of the children being mistreated and not prioritized. If they are able to put hundreds of dollars aside to give to their church, couldn't they possibly put a couple hundred aside for a diaper genie? Couldn't they possibly just, I don't know, when they're changing the diaper, throw it out in the trash? Listen, I get that when people are dealing with children, whether you are struggling financially or not, it could be difficult, it could be overwhelming, you could be extraordinarily stressed and not have the energy to clean up. It's not like people who are upset about this are watching these videos saying, oh, her house is dirty, she shouldn't clean. This is a hygienic issue. If you are in a house where there is everywhere, which she claims that she does not change the diapers until they are packed.
I'm not changing my kid's diaper when they pee. I've never done that. Do you know how expensive diapers are? I have friends and people that I know that like, oh, they peed, we have to change their diaper. And I'm like, they peed? Literally, I will change his diaper if he poops. Or if it's like a very full diaper.
So if you have 17 full diapers laying around your house, I would consider that to be a household that is filled with everywhere. That can cause health issues, severe health issues. If you are sitting around your house breathing in feces all day, the bacteria from that, it's disgusting. Okay, that's number one. Number two, there are videos of her and her husband being visibly irritated and annoyed with just the existence of her children, especially when it comes to her toddler. When her toddler is trying to reach for a french fry, she swats him away.
Boneless wings, fries, and fries. And the next night we did B-dubs. I mean, B-dubs is always great and all, but this is the thing, okay? Hear me out. Get more meat, and you also got more fries. Stop were $9 lobster rolls. Technically, we got a lobster roll, a fried shrimp roll. Now, the next way that we save a lot of money while we eat out is we don't order drink. We don't drink.
James loved this, but I was upset because I didn't want to share it with him, and my husband didn't want to share it with him, but he needed something. Poor James only got like 1.5 slices of this.
After taking our toddler to the park today for over 2 hours, we deserved a sweet treat. And that sweet treat was this most delicious raspberry sweet bun. This thing was so freaking good. And the best part is that James, my toddler, was watching a show on my phone in the back seat, and he didn't even notice, and he didn't even ask for it. But I did feel bad, so I did give him a tiny little piece. Because honestly, this will probably be his lunch because it's already past nap time, so when we go home, we're going straight to bed. Mama doesn't mess around with nap time. We are not missing nap time around here.
So what I'm hearing is that Mama doesn't really care about her child's needs as long as her needs are met. That's the only thing that matters. She doesn't mess around with nap time, but she's fine with letting her kid go hungry. That's my perception of what she just said.
Nap time is nap time. If for some reason you're not tired and it's nap time, you can go hang out in your bed, you can go hang out in your crib, whatever, but nap time's nap time, because that's also my break.
Speaking of nap time, she actually gets really annoyed when her children wake up before she's ready to wake up.
So do y'all remember staying in hotels when you were a kid and thinking it was the funnest thing ever? Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not so fun anymore when our kids go to bed at 11:30 last night and then they all wake up at 6 a.m. Yeah, both kids up at 6 a.m. this morning. Which technically is 7 a.m. back home in Utah, but still. 6 or 7, I don't vibe with either one of those times. 7 a.m., I'm not functioning. I'm sorry, I'm just not. But if you can.
And it's gotten to the point where she has recorded herself opening up her toddler's bedroom, implying that she locks him in the bedroom until it's time to get up. And when she opens the door, he's waiting right outside of the door for her. Which begs the question, how long was he actually waiting for? There is another clip where her toddler burns his hand on a waffle maker. And if you zoom in close enough in this video, you can see that she is side-eyeing the child before it even happens. And granted, okay, maybe it takes you a second to process what's going on, but after it happens, instead of saying, "Oh my God, are you okay?" and going over to rectify the situation and make sure your child's okay, she just says this instead.
Good morning to everybody except for James, who felt the need to just full on touch the waffle iron this morning. Why would you touch that?
Maybe you have a slow reaction time, I don't know, but why did you let your child do that? There are also 2 other clips that have been floating around, one where she gives her baby a jalapeno pepper, and another time when she gave her baby lemon juice and the baby started coughing and they were just laughing at it.
That was spicy.
There's also a clip of the father picking up their toddler and putting him behind their stove to try and grab something, which seems dangerous in my opinion.
Cleaning our house all morning, I told my husband to pull the oven back for me. The other day, I noticed that a roll had dropped back there. Honestly, my husband had the genius idea to just throw our toddler back there and have him pick up the roll instead of us trying to figure like something that would reach back.
Another viral clip that has been discussed widely throughout TikTok and YouTube, other corners of the internet, is this clip where this child is flinching from their father.
It's a Vegas tradition for us. In fact, my husband and I went to Vegas on our honeymoon in 2020. There's so many places.
This, I'm not going to say is going to confirm that any physical thing has happened, but that combined with this clip right here where she talks about if her child bites her, she's gonna bite the child back. If the child hits her, she's gonna hit the child back.
Biting of any sort. If you do that, I'm just gonna do it right back to you. If you bite, I'm gonna bite you. Not hard, but like enough that like, hey, that doesn't feel good. Don't go biting people. Don't go hitting people. It's gonna happen right back to you.
Just seeing the anger that comes from her at some points for her own children. Your children are just trying to be children.
Why are you pushing me? Did I push you? I didn't think so.
And this isn't even including the way that she treats her baby. There's a clip where she, if I do show it, I'll blur it. She picks her baby up and just tosses the baby on the bed like it's a rag doll.
You know why every woman knows how to eat while holding a baby, but the second you give that baby to the husband, to the male, they're like, I'm eating, I can't hold the baby. Me too. Like, I just know how to hold the baby and eat. Like, it's a thing. I promise you, every woman knows that. The second you start to eat yourself, that's when the baby cries. 100%, 10 times over, that's just how the babies just know it. They just know it.
There's another clip where she picks her toddler up by the arm and puts him in his chair.
Children are perfectly loved and perfectly healthy and perfectly cared for.
That's not how you pick a child up. What the fuck are you doing? It does raise concern, but again, that concern is nothing more than speculation at this time until a report is published or something like that online. Most likely we will not know the outcome. Hi, Shadow. Most likely we do not know the outcome as the public unless a huge thing happens and it's published by mainstream media or somebody directly involved. It has been a while since she has posted on her TikTok account, and currently it seems that all of the comments on all of her videos are disabled. So yeah, her excuse for a majority of this, by the way, is that it's satire and that this is all just a joke. You know who else claimed that mistreating their children was a joke before having some of them getting taken away from them? Daddy of 5 Does anybody remember that family channel? I've talked about them on my channel before. Jokes have to be funny. Satire has to be entertaining and funny. I don't buy that this is satire. If she is claiming it is, I don't believe it. There are also people claiming that this is rage bait. I really don't care if it's rage bait or not, because whether or not it's rage bait, in my opinion, this is going to have effects on them regardless of if this is rage bait or not.
You know what? I don't know why we're so mom shaming over here every single day. This whole 17 diaper thing went viral like a long time ago. Why are we still getting hate comments every single day for this? And by we, I mean me, because that was all my fault. I still can't believe people are still acting like perfect mothers around here. And I still can't believe people are calling that rage bait. Someone DM'd me the other day saying that I was all rage bait and that I'm a vile human person. A vile human being.
This response infuriates me to no end because, first of all, she's trying to claim that people calling this rage bait are mom shaming her, which sounds like she's just trying to use a buzzword to deflect any type of criticism for her terrible parenting. This is amplified with, you all think that you're perfect mothers out there.
Still can't believe people are still acting like perfect mothers around here.
While she may be doing a terrible job at coping with the fact that she's getting extensive criticism online for the way she's been treating her children, this deflection did seem to work for a little while because, again, she is trying to normalize her terrible parenting by trying to tap into an audience of struggling parents that may be single mothers or people struggling with financial situations. They're not being able to get the proper medical and mental health care that they need after delivering a child. She is trying to tap into this audience and seem relatable when she is in fact not. She has tools at her access to help her with situations. She has financial stability. As we'll get into later, there are rumors that she has grown up in an extremely wealthy household. But just so we're on the same page, I want to make it clear that I am not trying to direct my anger to a generalized group of people who may suffer from this, because I genuinely understand the severity that that can have. I am very upset with this person in particular because she has resources available, and not only that, if you think that I'm being too harsh on her for this, take her own word that she said herself she doesn't believe in taking mental health days, not even to take a day off from work.
My motto my entire life is that calling in sick to work is weak. And I still believe that like 99% of the time. I don't believe in mental health days. I really don't. You're depressed, get your butt out of bed and go to work. Never have I ever called in sick to work because I'm tired, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I don't feel like going today. And when in actuality, I don't feel like going today. I am sick, I am depressed, I am whatever. If I call in sick to work, you better like call me, come to my house, make sure I'm okay, make sure I'm still living. Because if I call in sick to work, it's a big effing deal. Honestly, couldn't tell you the last time I ever called in sick to work. And I've worked with a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I'm taking a mental health day, or I haven't gone to work in a week because of my mental health. That is just something that I don't understand. Maybe I just don't struggle with it, but I can't imagine just not going to work because your mental health. Like, don't you have bills? How the heck do you pay your freaking bill?
Yeah, she sounds completely insufferable at this point. I'm very glad that she doesn't have any mental health problems that she struggles with, that she feels like she needs to take a day off of work, but she must be insufferable to work with if she's judging other coworkers for taking a day off for their mental health, or for being sick, or for a crisis going on, or for whatever. Maybe mind your own business if you don't understand it. There's also one person who has spoken out claiming to be Hannah's former best friend, and this is what she had to say on the situation. I'll have the full TikTok linked below for you to watch if you want to hear the entire story, but to summarize things really quick, she claims that she used to be best friends with Hannah during childhood, and she claims that Hannah comes from an extraordinarily wealthy Mormon family. She claims that her father is a doctor and that her uncle owned a Chick-fil-A, and she talks about the various charitable things that Chick-fil-A does and Hannah's church does.
I just want to put it out there that she comes from a very wealthy family. Her dad is a very successful doctor, huge house, brand new installed pool at the time, and like full-blown basketball court in their backyard, a whole jungle gym, like set playground. They definitely like had a lot, you know, growing up. Like they were like the rich kids. Her uncle, even on her mom's side, owns a Chick-fil-A. Like Chick-fil-A is very charitable. Like, you know what I mean? Like if there was really a situation like where they needed help, like I'm sure her own uncle would help her. And also like the church, she's a part of the Mormon church, and the Mormon church is very charitable. Like, there are so many relief efforts if you're a member.
She then talks about how they began to drift apart in high school. Then she talks about being in a dorm room with Hannah and how negative Hannah used to be and how that drove a deeper wedge in their friendship.
It's just, like, mind-blowing. And, like, after we had, like, gone to that summer camp together and we're roommates in the dorm room, we had, like, a couple of different, like, fights and stuff, and that kind of, like, put a drift in us. But a big reason why I stopped hanging around her was because she was so negative and like she complained so much.
We are going to Vegas for Thanksgiving, and my husband told me he does not want to hear one complaint out of me while we're there, which means we have so much to get done today. We are literally leaving tomorrow, and he said that he's not taking me if I'm complaining about all the stuff that I did not get done, like work stuff.
Another thing that was claimed was that allegedly Hannah had grown up in not just a rich household, but a household that was messy, that would have cleaners clean everything up for them, therefore potentially explaining why she is the way that she is today.
Oh, and like also the whole thing about like the 17 diapers and stuff, like I will say, like, as nice of like the house was that she grew up in, like how huge it was often very messy, and like so were their cars. And they had like a cleaner come, like I think like once a week or whatever, but like it still wasn't enough because like the kids were just spoiled, respectfully. I'm so sorry, because like I actually thought her parents were nice.
At this point, you're an adult, you have kids. You should know how to clean. And if you don't, just watch a couple TikTok videos. You're on there enough to post them anyway. Learn how to walk over to a diaper and throw it in the trash can. I get it can be overwhelming to have kids. I get that there are certain situations where you feel burnt out. But when it comes to unhygienic things, such as leaving diapers all over your house while you still have 2 children in that house, it takes 2 seconds to just pick it up and throw it away. Instead, she shines a light on it like it's a flex. It kind of did become a flex because that is what got her noticed in the first place. And what concerns me the most isn't just that she is posting this stuff, and I've said this about Ruby Frankie as well, it's that there are other parents who are influenced by this, who see this as normalized. So now you have not only her, but a group of parents that think that this type of behavior is okay, and they're going to treat their children like this. They're going to let their children fill their diapers up and then just leave them laying around the house. If you hear scratching, it's hi bud. It's the new cat tower, and Shadow is in here enjoying it. Yeah, this is normal. Hello, Shadow. Okay, please be careful. Oh, look at him. Wait, hold on. Can you see it? So close. Again, I will leave this video linked in the description below because she goes into a lot more of her own personal details regarding her experience being Hannah's friend. And I personally do believe that she's telling the truth about at some point being her friend, because she did make a follow-up video showing a picture of them together as kids.
I was there. I was a part of her childhood. She had a very, very good childhood. A lot of money, a lot of resources, more than most Americans. And most people still don't do harmful things to their children.
She also claims that the soda machine that Hannah has in her house is related to her uncle working at Chick-fil-A.
The other thing is the soda machine that she has in her house, and how she's fully stocked with a bunch of Chick-fil-A cups, Chick-fil-A lids, and Chick-fil-A straws, which she didn't just go and pick up at her local Chick-fil-A. Her uncle owns a Chick-fil-A, okay? And he owns a Chick-fil-A. So, and also he probably gave her that machine, because I remember they had a soda machine in their game room growing up, and I'm pretty sure it was from the uncle as well. So I'm just saying.
I will say that it is possible to buy soda machines like that online, but it's not as common as buying an ice maker, which are kind of more popular right now. Everybody wants the Chick-fil-A crunchy ice, and there's certain ice makers that do that, but they're hundreds of dollars. At this point in time, I have not seen Hannah respond to this video to confirm or deny whether this person did used to be her friend, but this is telling, this is extraordinarily concerning, and this entire situation in general, I don't know. If you're filming yourself treating your kid like this, what else is happening when the cameras aren't rolling? If you're talking about this type of stuff online, what else is happening behind the scenes that you aren't talking about? Speaking of which, let's go to the nurse portion of this entire situation. She used to talk about how she would, in my opinion, mistreat her patients. I have to keep this part short, otherwise I'm going to go absolutely feral, but I do need to talk about Nurse Hannah's nursing situation. Hannah has made comments about how she can't talk about her nursing job too much because people go crazy online and try to report her. But what she fails to share is that there have been multiple times that she has posted some pretty reprehensible things regarding her nursing career online. This includes calling long-term care nursing ghetto.
Long-term care is probably the most ghetto type of nursing out there. Like, long-term care is the true hood of nursing. You hospital nurses, it's bougie out there. If you work in a hospital and you've never worked in long-term care, you guys are spoiled. It's spoiled life, it's bougie. I'm not hating on it, I'm jealous of you. I love long-term care, but let's be real. It's ghetto out here. We're working in the hood, for real.
Judging her patients and sometimes talking about bribing her patients.
You need your medications. Yes, you can refuse, but that's just gonna be a whole downward spiral. And I'm not about to have that kind of shift today. Sometimes you crush it up for them. Sometimes you crush it up and put it in an Oreo. You hide it in their breakfast. You know what we do in long-term care? I say, if you take your pills, I will give you a whole carton of cigarettes. That is what I did today. To my COPD patient,
This type of stuff is not okay. And what makes me the absolute angriest is this TikTok here. When you're laughing at the nurse's station and realize it's still visiting hours. Now, this may sound odd to be pointing out specifically if you haven't had anybody in your family or that you know living in a long-term care facility. I'll try my best not to get too personal here, but this does deeply upset me as somebody who has seen somebody in a long-term care facility. Actually, multiple people, but the most recent situation was one of the most horrific things that I've ever had to witness in my life. I believe this is something that is an issue not just in my local area, but nationwide. A lot of long-term care facilities lack nurses that actually care about their patients. There are some wonderful nurses out there that do their job so well and make sure that they give great bedside manner and care to those in need, because a lot of people in long-term care facilities are the elderly. But unless the person in the long-term care facility or somebody else is spending thousands upon thousands of dollars every month to make sure that they stay in a decent facility, more likely than not, they are going to be sent to a facility that takes their insurance. A lot of people are on something called Medicare, which is an insurance for people who are 65 and older, and a lot of these facilities that take Medicare often lack a lot of nurses that share compassion and good bedside manner. I'm not saying all facilities, but there are a lot of facilities like this, and what really irritates me is that in my experience, I have seen some wonderful nurses, and I have seen some nurses that just sit at their nursing station desk on their phone, hanging out with their friends, laughing, and at times making comments about the people that are their patients. And a lot of times I have seen residents being neglected and not having their daily needs met, like not having their diapers changed, which is interesting because it seems like she can't even change her own children's diapers correctly.
I don't really change their diapers when it's just pee, unless it's like a lot of pee. You know, like they're not gonna pee one time and I'm gonna change their diaper, because that means I would change their diaper 30 times a day, and holy, that's expensive. We don't have, plus this is not necessary. Like, they're not gonna get a rash from one round of pee.
Now, don't get me wrong, don't allow my experience from what I've personally seen to label her as a person who is doing the same thing, because I can't in good faith tell you that this is what she is or isn't doing. I'm not at her job, but it does piss me off that she takes her job so unseriously, that she has stated such judgmental things on her platform, has been reprimanded for it at her job and spoke about it on her platform, but blamed her audience for it. If you take away anything from this segment, the thing again that really irritates me the most is that last TikTok I just read out loud. Nurses who have this type of job but act like this really need to be more professional, because chances are a lot of people in long-term care facilities that have families visiting are extremely concerned, maybe going through extraordinarily stressful situations, and could use a little bit more compassion than walking up to a nurse's station and seeing people laughing while a family member, friend, or loved one is likely not having a really good time, because there's a reason why a lot of people are in long-term care facilities. Usually it's because they can't take care of themselves anymore, or because of something that has happened that they need to be there for a while until they recover. And that should be shown with compassion instead of disregard for them and the family that is visiting them. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean you can't be cheerful when you're trying to help patients or be around facilities. There's just a time and a place, and she knows exactly what she's talking about here because she's making a joke out of it. Now, she did finally address the situation, sort of.
So the fact that I even have to address this right now is kind of insane. Social media is just, it's a scary place. And I never understood people that much when they said they couldn't share their kids' faces online, or they couldn't share much about their kids. I didn't really understand it, but it's crazy. If you were to know me in real life, this whole lazy husband thing, it's satire.
This is where she starts using satire as an excuse, and where she starts talking about things are being jokes. Again, like I mentioned earlier in this video, the last family channel to talk about everything's just a joke was Daddy of 5, and things did not go well for them. You're free to believe what you wish. I personally do not believe that this is satire. She is also being investigated by the CPS. There has been mainstream media outlets reporting on this.
My husband is the sweetest, nicest, kindest, most loving, most nurturing father in the entire world. He is playing on the ground with James like 90% of the day. If that man is not laughing, having fun, teasing him, playing with him, whatever it is, then I don't know, then something's wrong. Because those two have the strongest bond, the strongest father-son bond that I know of anyone else. And it makes me really sad that social media has turned it into something, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's, it makes me sad that I guess I've turned it into something like that. I don't know. In the video that you guys are all freaking out about, they're just playing. They're always playing. They're always playing where they scare each other. James is obsessed with dinosaurs and bears, and when they look away, they come back and they scare each other, and they play, like when they throw something, they'll play throw it, you know, like psych them out, you know, and they flinch and whatever. Like that's what they're always doing. They're always like hiding behind couches and jumping at each other and chasing each other in the house and up the stairs, down the stairs, and tackling each other. They're always playing.
Just to clarify, she's referencing the video where her husband made her son flinch, and she's claiming that he flinched because he was playing. Again, this sounds very similar to the Daddy of 5 situation, but take this how you will. Feel free to believe her if you wish.
Constantly. To the point where, like, I'm trying to talk to my husband, I can't because he's always playing with my son. Nothing's going on.
She states that nothing is going on, and she denies any accusations of her mistreating her children or not loving her children, or I guess being fed up with her husband.
From the moment that my husband wakes up in the morning to the second he goes to bed, he is only thinking about our children and our family and what's best for us. And that's never not on his mind. He's constantly thinking about his children, their futures, what it's like now, how to be the best father. You can't believe everything you see on social media. You just can't. I promise, and when I promise this, I'm serious. Nothing is going on. You know, I don't really owe anyone an explanation. I could just be like everybody else, so when stuff like this happens, I could just keep quiet. And I thought about keeping quiet, just kind of letting it blow over. But I thought, I don't want that. I don't even want the thought of that out there. I don't want anyone to suspect anything, to not even be questioned whatsoever, that me or my husband, that we do not love our children, that we do not treat them with anything other than love. Like, it's crazy. There's nothing going on.
Again, it is entirely up to you on whether or not you believe what she says. Personally, I do not, based off of everything we have seen and gone over today. But that is just my opinion, and you are free to form your own. There are a few other YouTubers who have discussed this in great lengths. I will leave their channels here, and I will also link them in the description below for you to check out. This is an infuriating situation, and as somebody who, you know what, I'm just gonna be honest, I don't know what is going on. I don't know if it's like a generational thing or what is happening, but I'm just so sick of seeing people mistreating their children at such an alarming rate, treating them like crap while they are contributing to the privileged, comfortable life that they have. There are some people out there who should simply not be parents. I know that there are quite a few other TikTokers out there. It seemed like a couple of years ago it was family bloggers, and now it seems like it's going over to TikTok. Who knows where it's going to go if TikTok is no longer accessible in the United States. I don't blame TikTok for it. This has been going on since the internet really started and family vlogging really became a thing. It started with YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and now it's on TikTok. I'm sure after TikTok is gone, if it does disappear, there will be another app where this will continue. Quite honestly, I am grateful that the people that we do talk about on this channel that are similar to this creator or have done equally reprehensible things regarding their children, I'm grateful that they are dumb enough to document it, record it, and upload it to the internet for other people to be like, that's not okay. For every parent who ends up like this, I hope there are 100 more parents out there that see videos like mine and other creators that learn that this type of behavior is not okay. Or people that will become parents in the future, I hope that they look at this type of behavior and learn from it in a way to not become that, if that makes sense at all. I hope that at least that does some good, and I hope that by documenting this stupid shit that people do, that it generates enough concern that change happens for the children affected, because no child deserves to be treated like they are unwanted, like they are a burden to their parents, and they shouldn't be put in a position where they're flinching or scared or anything like that. Happy holidays, and I will see you later.